Caparol has been producing paints since 1895 and also offers a range of solutions for external thermal insulation. Capatect's ethics with the technique and performance of a complete system utilizing high quality products and accessories. Let's take a look at the application of the ethics range in the finishing process on a building. To start with, mark out the base of the building in order to fix the base rail. Note that any irregularities present on the surface of the building can be compensated by using special distance spacers placed behind the rails. These are fixed to the masonry using impact screws. The base rail's main function is to protect the lowest part of the EPS insulation boards and has a gutter to ensure the runoff of any water. Then follows the preparation of the special Capatect adhesive powder, which is simply mixed with water using a mixer set at slow speed. Once the right consistency has been obtained, the adhesive should be left to rest for a few seconds in order for the organic additive to co-join with the mortar. The Capatect adhesive mortar is now ready for use. The Dalmatina polystyrene EPS insulation boards are cut and shaped using a hot wire once the section to be removed has been traced out. The next stage is the gluing of the Dalmatina EPS insulation boards as we apply the adhesive to the reverse side of each one. Remember that the vertical joints must be staggered in order to obtain a good surface coverage and adhesion. The proper alignment of the Dalmatina EPS insulation boards is ensured by the use of a spirit level. The boards are positioned side by side, making sure that the surface remains flat. As with the vertical joints, it is very important to stagger the angles where the corners of the Dalmatina EPS insulation boards stick out and are not glued to the wall. An alternative method to the use of adhesive is the system of mechanical adhesion to the rails. This consists of inserting special grooved Dalmatina EPS insulation boards into PVC rails fixed at 50 cm distances. The thickness of the rails are adjustable to compensate for the irregularities of the support, so they can be fixed directly into the wall, and specific joint profiles are inserted between the boards. We apply a little adhesive to the reverse side of each board in order to give stability and so avoid a drum effect due to panel vibrations in case of wind or vibration of the support. The difference in the thickness of the walls of the old part of the building and the roof elevation are compensated by the profile of the EPS insulation boards. Once the adhesive has hardened, insert the mechanical fixing dowels at specified points in the T-joints and the middle of the boards. Drill and insert the dowel by driving it in with a specific drill which countersinks the dowel disc into the polystyrene. Then seal with an insulating cap. The result will be a fully insulated surface with no thermal bridge. If the support is made of concrete covered with fibro cement or even with wood or metal, special mechanical fixing dowels with self-driving screws are used. Insert the dowel and screw, making sure that the dowel head is perfectly in line with the surface, and seal with a little insulating cap. Where shutters or other heavy loads are fixed to the support, we position special plastic elements with integrated steel plates. This way we avoid any localized thermal bridges. Let's move on to the Capatect system reinforcement operations and start with diagonal reinforcements. It is essential to use reinforcing mesh positioned at 45 degrees to the angles of the openings in order to prevent cracking. Apply the adhesive, position the mesh and embed the mesh into the reinforcement mortar with a trowel. The corners of openings are protected using special PVC edge protection profiles with integrated mesh. Start at the top, apply the Capatect reinforcement mortar, position the protection profile and embed the mesh into the reinforcement mortar. The top of an opening can be equipped with a drill edge profile. Now let's look at the application of edge protection at the corners of the building. The corners of the building will also be protected by edge protection profiles, which further strengthens the connection between the EPS insulation boards and the joints. After cutting the overlapping EPS insulation boards to form the respective shape of the corner, start at the top with the mounting of the first edge protection profile. Apply the adhesive, then position the profile. Consecutive profiles must overlap by about 10 centimeters so as to guarantee good mechanical interconnection. The result? Corners that are durable and strong. Finally, the reinforcement and the finish are applied. The base coat is reinforced with Capatect fiberglass mesh. First, apply the reinforcement mortar, lay the mesh and cover it over. Note that the reinforcement mesh must be positioned in the upper part of the reinforcement coat in order to ensure good resistance. Each ribbon of reinforcement mesh must overlap the following one by at least 10 centimeters. Certain buildings must maintain the original architectural elements. For example, in the refurbishment of heritage monuments, certain traditional features must be retained. With this in mind, special lightweight, elegant, hard-wearing Caparol mouldings can be applied. Once the design has been traced out, apply the adhesive with a toothed trowel, mount the profile and press well for perfect adhesion. It is very important to correctly seal the edges and the joints to avoid any penetration of moisture. Two types of finish are possible, which depends on the final effect to be achieved, either a render texture or a Meldorfer brick finish. For textured finish, apply a tinted primer which assists the following application. The colour must be of a comparable shade to the colour of the finished render, which will define the final colour of the facade. Apply it to flat surfaces as well as structured areas. Once it is completely dry, apply the tinted finishing coat, for which you can choose from the complete family of Caparol exterior renders and paints suitable for your respective requirements of design or function. This could be, for example, modified pure acrylic silicone resin render, which has an excellent performance and durability. Apply the finishing render by spreading the product using a steel trowel, then structuring it with a plastic trowel. It's real teamwork for a perfect result. The facades can also be finished using Meldorfer flat-facing bricks. Before laying the bricks, it is important to trace the surfaces which are to be covered so as to stay in line with windowsills, lintels and other elements which make up the architectural design of the facade. The corners of the buildings as well as the reveals are covered using corner bricks, staggering the joints by a half or a third depending on the spacing we want to obtain. The flat-facing bricks are made utilising the very latest technologies. A specific surface creation process makes each brick a unique element, as if it had been handmade. The material is manufactured from a mixture of inorganic pigments and special sands bonded with synthetic resins which, when coming into contact with the adhesive during the laying process, undergo a strong adhesion to the surface. This technology gives you excellent mechanical resistance and outstanding weathering durability. The application of the bricks is carried out by applying special Meldorfer ready-to-use glue with a steel trowel, spreading the glue only on small areas as you go along. The bricks are applied one by one, pressing them in with the fingers and offsetting them by 3/4 or a half according to the criteria of the project. Special scissors designed for this specific purpose are used to cut the bricks. The width of the joints between the bricks should be between 10 and 30 millimeters depending on the dimensions of the surface to be covered. The excessive glue which will appear in the joints should be smoothed using a brush to ensure that the system remains impermeable. It will be necessary to lightly dust the surface with a brush to clean the section that has been completed. To give the facades a more natural and attractive appearance, we have used two different tones of facing bricks during this project. As you have seen, Capatect Ethics is the leading technology for external thermal insulation systems. It insulates a building in both cold and hot climate situations to the required standards and rests on the experience of over 50 years, tested as much in the laboratory as on sites, on high-quality products integrated into a complete system and Caparol's professional application technique. Caparol has also set up a training scheme to help you optimize the use of their products. Don't hesitate to contact us should you have the least query.